My name is Verena Eberhardt. I'm an assistant at the Chair of the Study and History of Religion with Professor Daria Pezzoli-Algiati at the University of Munich. I'm working on a doctoral thesis about representations of religion and diversity in German language media which are intentionally produced for children. Today I want to present some parts of my project. I will briefly introduce the issue, clarify the aims, give an insight into the theoretical background, present the selection of the sources, and illustrate first results. My focus is on exploring the field of media for children concerning images of religion and diversity, and I am especially interested in normative conceptions that are connected with these representations. The working hypothesis is that children's media present images of society and aim to depict ideals of living together. The aesthetic and narrative design of children's media imply that children essentially differ from adults. Cultural studies make clear that childhood does not exist per se, but is a historically and culturally variable construct. The psychological and legal perspective differ in the denomination of children, adolescents, and adults. This chart is a visual representation of development over age. The first stages of life and old age are characterized by biological processes. Young, middle, and late adulthood is mainly constituted by social aspects. The findings of psychology influence the cultural and social understanding of what children, adolescents, and adults are, can, and should be allowed to do. These ideas are reflected in the legal determination of people, their rights, and duties. Article 1 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child states that a child is anyone who has not yet reached the age of 18. In Germany, people between the ages of 14 and 18 are de jure adolescents, whereas people up to 14 years are children. The distinction between children, adolescents, and adults is reflected in children's media, which are at the same time models of and for childhood. People adopt and reflect culturally and socially mediated environmental offers. This process is called socialization. Since children's media are written, produced, selected, and bought by adults, they reflect an asymmetry of power. The media create social norms. They are not only a cultural asset for entertainment and knowledge transfer, but also an economic good which is dealt with. My research aims to explore normative ideals in the representation of religious motives in media from 1970 to 2020. I am interested in the changes in the representation of religions in the period of 50 years. Therefore, I am working with 6 basic concepts: identity, difference, religion, diversity, the cultural imaginary, and communication. Today I want to focus on religion and diversity. I follow the paradigm of cultural studies and comprehend religion as a part of culture. According to Natalie Fritz and others, religion can be heuristically localized on different levels. There are emic, public media, and academic views of religion. Emic views relate to the inner perspective, which means the self-perception of individuals and communities. They are characterized by variability and diversity. In contrast, public media views tend towards generalization and stereotyping. Media are places of debates about religious traditions, practices, ideas, and communities. The academic perspective relates to concepts, theories, and definitions of religion. The approaches arise under the influence of intellectual, political, economic, and personal discourses. In my research project, I reconstruct religion on all these levels. In the sources, emic views are shown in documentary form or as fictional emic perspective. In non-fiction books, concepts which are explored in theology, philosophy, or the study of religions are demonstrated. They are also religious symbols typically used in public media. These perspectives relate to religion at the level of the sources. Publication as book, radio play, or film transfers these perspectives to a public media level. The aim of the academic reconstruction is to work out and reflect on concepts of religion. Emic, public media, and academic views are part of the cultural imaginary, which encompasses all notions of religion, associated values and norms, as well as expectations, stories, and ideas. To understand religion as a cultural system, we need a brief digression into semiotics. There are different types of signs. An index has an indicative function, so smoke is a sign that there must be fire somewhere. Icons are based on an imaging function. The sign of a bicycle looks similar to a bicycle. Symbols are arbitrary and conventionalized within a community of those who use the sign. Language is an example, therefore. Religion understood as a sign system means that language, images, practices, values, and norms circulate. In contrast to culture, the religious sign system refers to transcendence. Religions differentiate between immanence and transcendence. With immanent means, such as language, music, or sacrifice, people actively create a connection between immanence and transcendence. Diversity means that religious systems, beliefs, rites, or narratives exist at the same time in the same place. One consequence of pluralization is that values and norms have to be discussed. My selection of sources is based on 4 aspects. All sources address diversity, that means at least 2 religious systems. The analyzed media are intendedly produced for children, namely for people up to around 12 years. The sources are means of communication that intend the widespread distribution of content to the public. This includes books, movies, audio media, websites, and games. The media are available in German language. Translations are also taken into account as they enable a reflection on identity and othering processes. At the end, I would like to show 5 discourses on how religion and diversity are treated in children's media. Most sources classify religion based on world religions. That includes Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Some media suggest that we are German and Christian. This can be seen on both the textual and the visual level. Older sources in particular suggest that religion is something good and desirable. Some recent sources are critical, arguing that religion is useless and leads to violence. There are different approaches to diversity. Some media argue that pluralism, that is, being friendly with each other, is a necessity. Others intend that diversity is enriching, and some recognize diversity as normality. In the main, the representation of religious diversity is very stereotyped and simplified. Represented identities are not interdependent but often singular. Most sources intend to convey cohesion, respect, and tolerance, but this reinforces the demarcation between groups that are perceived as different. By demanding tolerant behavior towards the other, the stranger is explicitly constructed. Children's media reflect current discourses, interact with them, and negotiate ideas about who we are and want to be as a society. And that's why it's worth researching.